Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is RJV Shade and today we are gonna be doing the mid-year book tag. So let's get started. I'm really excited. To train to ride dragons. The plot twist didn't even make sense. The way that she writes, she just embodies summer. It just ruined the whole book for me. I would not change anything about this book. He painted her grandmother's nails. Most of the people have already posted their videos, but I wanted to post it in July, so that's why I'm filming it in July. So, I've gotten the questions from Freya Valerio and Larissa on YouTube and Insta. You can see their YouTube channels on the screen. So, let's get started without further ado. I have tried to not have two books for the same answer, but if they coincide perfectly, it's just there's nothing I can do. So let's get started. The first question is best book you have read in 2026 so far. I have read like 95 to 97 books by the time I will post this video, so I've gotten like 10 something 5 stars out of 95 to 97 books. So the books that I have answered for this prompt are, let's go one by one. The first book is Starside by Alex Alster. It is a fantasy book where the power is in a sword. So if you have a titanium sword and if your opponent has a silver sword, the silver sword will like totally ruin your titanium sword and they will win in the battle. It is just so fun. The yearning was unmatched. It was very fast paced and I binged the book in whole in one day. I read it with one of my best friends for a book club and I loved it. The plot twist at the end, I'm so excited to read the second book in the series. I don't know how many books are going to be in the series, but I'm going to read them nonetheless. So that was a 5-star read. Then the second book is Heart the Lover by Lily King. The way that I sobbed at the ending of this book, it is unmatched. I read it in the video where booktubers pick my reads, or it is probably not up by the time this is up, but I like literally sobbed my eyes out. It was that heartbreaking. I loved it very much. So the plot of that is that the main female character is in college. She's looking back on her life in college, what she went through. She forms a friendship with two guys and the story goes from there. This is just a character study. There is not a lot of plot going on, but it was everything to me and I highly recommend you read it. But before you read this, definitely make sure that you read Writers and Lovers first, because the background information you get, it's crazy. I loved it. So those two books are my favorite books of the year so far. We'll see at the ending of the year if that changes, and if it doesn't, then yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Then the next question is worst book you have read so far in 2026. I would have to say The Waitress by K.L. Slater. It is a mystery book. I got an arc for it. I have no idea what happened in the book. It was so slow. The plot twist didn't even make sense. I was just reading it because I got an arc and I did not want to DNF an arc. Let me actually search up the plot of the book. The writing style was just not for me. I rated it 3 stars. I thought I rated it 1 star because okay. So the plot of that book was that the main female character had to pretend to be someone's girlfriend, and she was a waiter and she had to spy on someone. I have no idea what happened, but it was very slow paced and the plot twist, as I said, was not it. I was very bored. I don't have anything other than that to say. Then I think the next question is best sequel you have read so far in 2026, and I definitely have to say Rights of the Starling by Devony Perry. It is the second book in the, I forgot the series name. Excellent. You see how my memory is shit. Let me drink water till my Goodreads loads. Rights of the, okay, so the series name is called Shield of Sparrows. I thought it was something else, but whatever. The first book in the series is, of course, Shield of Sparrows, and the second is The Rights of the Starling, which I nominate for the best sequel I've read so far in 2026. The plot of Shield of Sparrows is that the main female character is Odessa, and her sister was the perfect child their parents had. Actually, not their parents, her father and her stepmother had. She was supposed to be the Shield of Sparrows because the Shield of Sparrows treaty is the treaty where all of the kingdoms design a pact to intermarry so they don't go to war and blah blah blah. So her sister May was supposed to be the Shield of Sparrows, but when the prince of the other kingdom came, he wanted Odessa as his wife, so she has to go travel to his kingdom with him. And so her father wanted her to spy on that prince because May was originally going to be the Shield of Sparrows. She was also going to spy because they think they have some secrets, and it was so good. But the plot twist of Rights of the Starling had me gagged. It was, oh my god, the chills I get thinking about that book. Rights of the Starling has a dual POV. Yeah, one that follows Odessa and one that follows Caspia. The way that those two POVs interconnected, I was gobsmacked, and I would highly recommend this series. Shield of Sparrows was a 3-star read for me. Rights of the Starling was a 4.5-star read for me. There you go. Best sequel I've read so far this year, and would highly recommend. If you don't like Shield of Sparrows, just continue with the series. It gets way better. And the third book in this series is going to be called Seven the Swift, and it comes out in March of 2027 or something like that. It's called Seven and the Swift, and the cover of that book is so pretty too. Yeah, it comes out 9th March 2027, so I'm definitely going to be picking that up on the day it comes out. Time for the fourth question. And the fourth question is, worst sequel you have read so far in 2026? And the book that I'm going to say for this wait, let me get the book. One sec. So, it's Fearful by Lauren Roberts. This follows Kit from, this is actually a novella in the Powerless series. This is the last book in the series, and it follows Kit, one of the brothers. The other brother is Sky, who I absolutely love. The thing that annoyed me about this book is the ending. The way that the plot twist happened with Kit and Mara, I just did not like that. And I did not expect Kit to end up the way he ended up, because I kind of understand him at certain levels, but his ending was not deserved. I did not like the ending, and it just ruined the whole book for me. But I'm so sorry, but yeah, there you go. Then the fifth question is, new release you haven't read yet but want to. And I would say The Wings That Bind by Briar Bolin. It is the third book in the Bloodwing Academy series, and the fourth book releases in October 20th or October 13th. So, the first book is called On Wings of Blood. The second book is The Bond That Burns. And I would highly recommend those books because, let me first tell you the plot of On Wings of Blood. So, the main female character is Pendra. Not Pendra, it is Medra Pendragon. And she wakes up naked in a field with dead bodies, and some people find her. And those people are some of the main authorities in that world, and the person who finds her is actually Blake. So this kind of has an academy setting, and she's a half fae in a school of high blood vampires. They find out that she is from a dynasty of dragon riders, so she has to go into the Bloodwing Academy to train to ride dragons, and the story just goes from there. It was so fun. I remember I was reading this first book and the second book in the span of one day. My exams were going on. I was like preparing for my Sanskrit or my Hindi exam, and I would do things where, like, if I learnt a chapter of my studies, I get to read one chapter of the book or 5 chapters of the book or something like that. And it was amazing. It is very fast paced, very fun. Again, Yearning Pro Max, loved it. And the academy setting in this, it is brutal, and the MMC is blonde and he's a vampire. Yeah. And Blake, he might just be the one who pushes me over the edge. They think they can control me, they think they can use me, but they have no idea what they've awakened. There are also kind of deadly competitions in this, which I love, and they were done perfectly. I would not change anything about this book. I think I originally rated it 4.5 stars, but I have to change it to 5 stars. Yeah, enough about that. So I desperately want to read The Wings That Bind, but I made a promise to myself that I would only read it after the series is finished. so it does not end on a cliffhanger and ruin my sleep. So yeah, then most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have, how many do I have? One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. The Emperor's Enemy, Daybreak, In the Wake of the Ruined, Python, Wolf Queen, Realm Blade. So, I recently got the news that the Wolf Queen is not going to release this year because the author wants to spend more time on it to perfect it before she publishes it, which I totally understand and support her. So, that's out of the list. Then, I also think Python won't be released this year because Daggermouth just got traditionally released, so that's also out of the list. And I got The Arc of the Emperor's Enemy by Jasmine Mars. It's on my Kindle from NetGalley and I'm so grateful. So I'll probably reading it next after the book that I'm currently reading. So that's also out of the list, but just know that it was there. So, officially the answers are Daybreak, In the Wake of the Ruined, and Realm Blade. Let's first talk about Daybreak. It is the second and final book in the Sorrow Song University duology. The first book is Nightshade. I read that in my 24-hour readathon. And it just follows Ophelia Winters as she goes to the Sorrow Song University to identify who killed her parents. It's kind of like a mystery mixed in with a lot of other things. It was so fun. The MMC is Alex Corbo Green. He's a student. He's helping her to find out who killed her parents. She at first she kind of suspects him, and the way that book ended, I was so mad. I wanted the next book immediately, and the banter in this book is very smart funny, if you know what I mean. It sometimes took me a lot of time to understand the banter, and that just shows how good a book is written if it takes time for me to understand the banter. And Ophelia also has a stalker, so that thing is also going on, and it's a lot, and I would definitely recommend. Very fast paced, fun, and kept me on the edge of my seat. Then the next book I said was In the Wake of the Ruined by Kaylee Cassidy. It is already published. It is on my July TBR, so I'm hoping to read it this month. But the main plot of In the Veins of the Drowning was that the FMC, what's her name? Imogen is a siren. She is hidden in a kingdom where sirens are slain and blah blah blah. So one king rescues her and she makes a blood bond with him, and now they have to go to break the blood bond, and a lot of things happen in between. She likes him. Does he like me? Does she like me? And it's just a whole situation. The yearning again in this was absolutely amazing and I loved it. So the cover of this is also really pretty, and it is also a duology, a finished duology. A specific line of my review from for In the Veins of the Drowning was, the way that the author writes the story makes you feel all the emotions, and the battle scenes were amazing, and it is a gothic romantasy, which again not a lot you see of, so would definitely recommend. And the sirens in this book definitely made the book for me. And one of the quotes of In the Veins of the Drowning was, "But if you are to devastate me, then let it be completely. Lay waste to me and everything that's mine. A life without you in it is not one I wish to lead." Like, bro. Yeah, I loved that scene. Now, on to the next question. No, I forgot one book. Sorry. And the third book for this is Realm Blade by Parker Lennox and Bree Greenwich. It is the third book in the Esprithian trilogy. Okay, it is also not coming out in 2026, so yeah, we'll be skipping that book, but just know it was on there. Now, the next question is biggest surprise of the year, and I would have to say Red City by Mary Lou, because I did not expect to love this. I read this because Jamie recommended it to me. So there are like multiple POVs in this. That is what I remembered. Sam and Ari. Ari is a boy. He was from Surat, which I love to see because whenever I see people from India in books, it just makes my whole heart melt. And so they were best friends with a lot of will they won't they in school, then they fell out of touch, and then they realized that Sam is on one part of the war, Ari is on the other part of the war. I think Ari works for the Lumines and Sam works for the Grand Central, but I'm not sure. But they work for rival syndicates, and alchemy is a huge part of this world. The book, the way that why I loved this book is because of the alchemy in this. It is described in such a human felt way that when the author was describing the alchemy, I was just awestruck. And the romance in this book, I did not even care about it that much. I just cared about the plot, and that says a lot. I just could not stop reading the book. It was so good. The magic system in this book is that alchemy enhances who you are at your core. So if you are beautiful, you become like insanely pretty. If you're smart, you become the wisest person ever. And that magic system just boggles me. And the characters in this are all morally grey. When one specific character died, I was like so sad. So sad. And it's just really good. I definitely recommend that you should pick it up. Biggest surprise of the year, 5 stars. So then the next question is favorite new author, debut or new to you. Guys, we are gonna take a break because I just got an ice cream. So I'll talk to you in a few minutes, I guess. See you later. Okay, guys, she's back. So, which question were we at? Okay, yeah. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? So, the author I've selected is Jasmine Maz. I have read like almost all of her books. I've read The Villains of Law duology like 3-4 times already. And I've also read the Cruel Shift-Towards books, like the first 3 books. And I still have to read like the last 3 books. But I'm definitely going to finish them in July. I read her books first in like January or something like that, and I became obsessed. The way that she writes her characters is amazing. The internal monologue of her characters was like hilarious and unhinged, and I was so obsessed with them. The men, top notch. Chef's kiss. Caron and Augustus, I love them so much. They're in my top 20. They're like at the 5th or 4th position or something like that. I've read The Blood and Bonds of Hercules, both of those books, like 3 to 4 times. 3 to 4 times. And in her books, there's always a funny side animal character. Like in the Villains of Law duology, there was Nyx. She's like a snarky little snake. And in the Cruel Shift-Towards, there is Xerxes, who actually turns out to be a shifter. So, because Cruel Shift-Towards. So that is what I have to say for this prompt. If the writing style in this is not a best, repeat it with me. The writing style in this is not the best. That is not why I'm recommending the book to you. The vibes were there. If the vibes are good, I do not care about the writing style. It just does not matter to me. So don't blame me if the writing style is not good and if you don't like that. It does not matter to me. So I am enjoying it. I'm having fun. Let me have my fun, okay? So then the next question is newest fictional crush. And the answer I have is the man is Charlie Florek. He's from One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. The acts of service in this book, so good. This is an interconnected standalone. The plot of this book is that the main female character is Alice. She goes to Barry's Bay to kind of wind it down. She has been working. She has not taken a break. And once her grandma falls down from the stairs and something like that, and she gets a hip replacement injury, so she takes her grandma with her to Barry's Bay to like calm down, relax, all of that stuff. So they're staying there for a few months, and Charlie is there. He kind of like looks after the cottage they're staying at. So it's just kind of like a forced proximity thing. It's like friends to lovers, and it was so good. Charlie Florek, the man that he is, he painted her grandmother's nails and he carried her from her house to the boat they were like roaming in on the lake. Period. I love him so much. Wow, he's everything. He is, oh my god. And the relationship just wasn't on like a physical level, it was an emotional understanding level, and I absolutely ate that up. The first book in this interconnected series series was Every Summer After. I read that like 3-4 years ago. I don't remember anything of it, so I need to reread that again. And this book is peak summer. If you want summer vibes, I would definitely recommend Khali Fortune. The way that she writes, she just embodies summer, and that was wow, it was everything, and I love that. Then the next question is a book that made you cry. Wow, there are so many answers. Okay, let's go through the list. Broken Country, Taming Seven, Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, The Poet Empress, Heart the Lover. I've already talked about Heart the Lover, so we won't be talking about that for a long time, but I just wanted to let you know that was the book that made me cry the most out of all of the books in this list. Then let's go in the order of which I've read them. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, I rated it a 4.75 stars, and it was very depressing. While I was reading that book, I just had to take like such long breaks, and nothing could cheer me up. It was so sad. The things that are discussed in that book, wow, it's just very gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching. The first book in this series is called Magnolia Parks. And if you like toxic books, I would recommend it. I'm very excited for the Daisy Hates 3 book. So yeah. Then The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. The plot of this book is that V is the main female character. She lives in a very like not well-to-do village, and the emperor's son is looking for a concubine. So she goes to enlist. He picks her as one of her concubines. She's trying to make the world better. In this world, women are not allowed to read and write, so she is trying to read and write basically so she can take down Terran. Terran is like, at first he's portrayed like a monster. He's so cruel, he's so bad, he's the worst, blah blah blah. But as the story goes on, we get to see why he is the way he is. The grooming that he went through, he was such a kind child when he was a child, and now he's portrayed as a monster. This book is full of morally grey characters, and I hated one specific character so much. The hate I had for him was like unmatched. This was also my first 5-star of the year. I remember I finished reading this at like 4 in the morning, and I could not stop crying. I actually liked the ending, and this is not a romantasy. Please do not believe it is a romantasy. It is just a fantasy. Let me read my review of this book to you, because I feel like I wrote it more perfectly than what I am explaining to you. Okay. This book was tragic, heartbreaking, phenomenal at all times. Cry count 5 times. Highly recommend. I'm literally begging everyone to read it immediately. This is a fantasy with no romance, just to warn you all. This feels like you are reading a dark mythological fairy tale with court politics and scheming and poison and all of that whatnot. It deals with dark, heavy topics, and it is not a fun time. Please check your trigger warnings before you read this. Seeing the backstory of some Terran characters made me realize that everything is not black and white. It has a whole field of gray space. I love V as a character, and at some points couldn't even predict what she was going to do. You get so many conflicting thoughts about the characters and how they should end up. Those are my favorite types of books. I wasn't satisfied with one specific character's ending, but wholly see why the FMC had to do what she did. Oh my god, if you like this book or if you enjoy this book, I highly recommend A Song to Down Rivers by Anne Liang to you. It gives the same vibes and has almost the same setting, though the plot progressed differently. So that's for The Poet Empress. One of my friends on Fable, K, is reading it right now, and yeah, she's loving it. Taming 7 by Chloe Walsh. I won't be talking a lot about this with you because it is in the middle of a series, and it just, again, it talks about a lot of mental health, what that can do with your life. It talks about SA and all of that stuff, so of course that made me cry. Then Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. I read that in June, and I was surprised that I cried about it, because I usually don't like get connected with literary fictions, and this is one. So the plot of this book is that the main female character is Beth. She is married to Frank, and one day her past love comes back into town, and she has to deal with all of that with not ruining her relationship with her husband. And at the starting of the book, a farmer is dead. The first line of the book is, the farmer is dead, he is dead, and all anyone wants to know is who killed him. So that just made me like really excited to read the book, and the story progressed in such a way. There was some things that I did not expect at all, and when we find out who killed the farmer, gobsmacked. So yeah, I cried like little at the ending of the book, so that is why I answered this book for the plot. There is a lot of drama in this book, and it is described as a sweeping love story with the pace and twist of a thriller. Broken Country is a novel of simmering passion, impossible choices, and explosive consequences that toggles between the past and present to explore the far-reaching legacy of first love. The way that this book ended, I was really satisfied with that, and I rated it 4 stars. So, then the next question is a book that made you happy. So, again, I have two answers for this, and the first is Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Kemmer. It follows three people, the warrior, the princess, and the assassin. And again, the cover of this is also really pretty. And the plot is that the main female character is Jory. There are two main male characters. The warrior is King Maddox, and the assassin is Asher. So, King Maddox's land is like suffering from a famine. No other kingdom knows that except for him. So, he has to go get married with another kingdom's daughter so they can like form a bond and help each other out. And in the main female character's Jory's POV, her father is dying. No other kingdoms know that, so she's trying to hide that there are a lot of secrets in this. And Asher gets included in this story because he is Jory's best friend. He's everything to her. He has definitely went through some hard things, but why this made me happy is because the way that the author wrote the characters and the banter was so good. Oh my god, I loved that, and I was like giggling the whole time. I did not want to put the book down, and it was amazing. I think I read this in How Much I Read in a Week or something like that video, and so yeah, it just made me very happy, and I rated it 4 stars. And I'm definitely excited for the next book in the series, which is called Captive Traitor King. So yeah, and this also ended on a huge cliffhanger. Then the second book I have for this question is Psycho Fae by Jasmine Mas. I have described her to you before. She writes like top-notch characters, female characters, and it's just really fun. It is very bingeable. All of the MMCs are insane, unhinged, and like wow. So, Psycho Fae. Then the next question is most beautiful book you have bought so far this year, and I have this book here, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Just look at this cover. Is that not gorgeous? And this was also a 5-star read for me. It also made me cry. So this is just a book about space. If you love space, I highly recommend. It just follows the FMC as she goes through different stages of her life, what she has to go through to become an astronaut. So astrophysics professor Joan Goodwin begins training to be an astronaut at Houston Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates. As the new astronauts prepare for their first flight, Joan finds a passion and a love she never imagined and begins to question everything she believes about her place in the observable universe. Then in December of 1984, on a mission STS-LR9, everything changes in an instant. So it's just really good. It follows two plot lines, the present and the past, and I would highly recommend. And I usually don't buy a lot of books. I only buy them if I love them, and I usually read all of the books on my Kindle. So this is the most beautiful book I've bought this year so far, and I got this for my birthday, and I would highly recommend. And it's so floppy too. Yeah, clock that. Then, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have so many. Okay. The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillick. If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia, I think. Blood Oath, I've already read that. Plier by Jane Washington. Because I Killed Him by Edith Bird. So let's talk about all of these one by one. The Knave and the Moon. It's the second book in the Stone Water Kingdom series. So the plot of the first book is called The Night and the Moth, and the plot of that is that the main female character is Sybil Telling, has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk travel alike across the kingdom of Trom's windswept moors to learn their future by her dreams. I read this in like 2025 or something like that, so that is why I don't remember a lot. But The Knave and the Moon is on my 26 books I want to read in 2026. So a mysterious knight arrives in this book called Rory, rude, heretical, Nope, it's not devishly, it is devilishly handsome. The knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's vision, but fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one. She has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. But the world outside the cathedral's cloister is fraught with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. So, I'm really excited for The Knave and the Moon, and the cover of that is also really pretty. This was a gothic fantasy, and the way that the author describes some of the dark, moody atmospheres in this book, I loved them. The author's writing style is amazing. I love another duology by her, and that is the One Dark Winter duology. Okay. Then If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. Okay, yeah. So people say that this gives Luke and Lorelai vibes from Gilmore Girls, and I'm just really excited to read it. The cover looks so fall to me, and I really like that. I have no idea what this is about, but I'm really excited about it. People say that it is really good, and the dog on the cover of the book, so cute. Then Plier by Jane Washington. It is like a reality TV show academy or something like that. It is a 6-book series, but all of the books are pretty nope, they are not pretty short, they are long. They are like, the first book is of 470 pages. It is an omega verse. Plier is more than a regular academy. It is also the biggest reality TV show in the world, and a very elaborate, very luxurious prison. Isabel Carter, the only rare Sigma to be accepted, is the first sign, but there are others, many others. She will need to climb in order to survive Ironside, where social media is king and consequences are deadly. She will need to make her mark. This isn't a game for the faint of heart, and those who rise should be prepared for a beautiful, brutal fall. Beware the pretty posers, because this social media game just got dangerous. The Hunger Games collides with America's Got Talent, and you have just been invited to binge it all in high definition. Okay, that sounds really good. That is why it is on this list. And the last is Because I Killed Him by Edith Bird. It recently blew up, and people say that it is dystopian fantasy, and the plot twist at the end is crazy. I have no idea what this is about, and I'm not going to read it because I want to go into that book blind. But I don't know if I'll pick it up. I don't know, we'll see. And the last question is a reading goal. So I'm currently filming this on the 12th of July, and I have so far in this year read 95 books. My reading goal of the year was 100 books. So I've already read 95. By the time I'll post this video, it will be at 97 or something like that. So I'll definitely complete my reading goal. It is okay if you don't complete your reading goal. I just have kind of like a high reading speed, and I don't have any other hobby, so reading is all I do. And so if you read 10 books a month, I'm so proud of you. If you read 1 book a month, I'm so proud of you. And just read. That is all that matters, So that's all for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you do this video, tag me and I'll let you know all my thoughts. I had so much fun filming this, but my throat is gone. Yeah. Comment the trident emoji to let me know that you watched till the end of the video, because Trident Charlie Florek, he's in a lake, and the lake reminds me of the sun god Poseidon. It's a lot. Yeah. Comment the trident emoji if you made it till the end and want to let me know that you watched till the end of the video. So yeah, that's all for today's video. I love you all. All of my links are down below. My Instagram, my Bookstagram. I only have one Instagram. My Pinterest, my Spotify, my Fable Bookclub. So yeah, that's all for today's video. As I said for the 3rd time, I'll see you in my next video, which will probably be a reading vlog or something of that sort. And bye. I love you all.